Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 3rd May 2022. So first of all, I wish you a very happy Ramzan for all of you. So now, let us try to see the quote today. So quote, it is a motivational quote. So it is saying that words are like keys. If you choose them right, they can open any heart and shut any mouth. So words are like keys and you have to choose them rightly. So whenever you are choosing right words, they can open the key, of any heart, and they can also shut any mouth. So now let us try to see first topic. It is regarding GST. So introduction regarding this topic we discussed in our yesterday's lecture. So now let us try to see in detail what is this article talking about. So this article is important from our economy point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 3, and some basic facts regarding this GST it might be important from your prelims, and analysis will be important from your mains. So let's get started and let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So why this GST is in news? Because of GST collections. So according to Ministry of Finance, it mainly said that India's gross goods and services tax, that is GST, in month of April. So April revenues, which are very much high, that is about 1.67 crore rupees. So if you see details, it mainly says that. First, let us try to see some important and basic facts, because there are a number of new subscribers out there and new students, they started this UPSC preparation. So first you need to know some facts regarding this GST, then only you will appreciate what is this article talking about. So if you're talking about GST, whether it will come under direct tax or indirect tax. So if you're talking about taxes especially, we will be having direct tax and as well as indirect tax. So this GST which mainly comes under this indirect tax. So which are the taxes which comes under direct tax? For example, income tax, corporate tax, like that. So there are some taxes which mainly comes under direct tax. So GST, that is goods and service tax, which mainly comes under this indirect tax. So this might be one prelim statement. Okay. So this GST, it is indirect tax. It is not paid directly by the customers to the government. Okay. So what happened here in this GST means, so it will be like affecting each and every people. So that is affecting the poor the most. So in this direct class, if direct tax here, so if there is rising of your income means, so based on your income you are going to pay taxes. But this indirect tax, so if your income is increasing or not, so you have to pay that tax here, right? So this GST has actually replaced many indirect taxes, for example service tax, VAT, excise, etc. in the country. So actually, so this tax which is mainly levied on manufacturer or seller of goods and services and as well as provider of the services. So if we're talking about a GST, okay, so this GST which is like an indirect tax, so it will be mainly paid at a final level, at a consumer level. So whenever, for example, I am going to any nearby shop, whenever I am purchasing, at least for example, let us take toothpaste, I am buying a toothpaste, so on this toothpaste I have to pay indirect tax. So even when I am going for any movie or whenever I am going for any hotel, so there also I have to pay this GST. So if you're talking about this GST slabs, are different as GST slabs, it is 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%, etc. So what are the objectives of this GST? So first one here is, it is mainly focusing to eliminate the tax cascading effect. So the taxes are generally levied for the next value added portion, so eliminating the tax on the tax regime and lowering the cost of the goods. So one important idea of coming up of this GST is to decrease the cost of the goods, because at different level the tax which is mainly paid, okay. So for example, if you are a manufacturer, you are getting raw material, so on this raw material you are paying tax, and after manufacturing, here wholesaler will be purchasing the goods from the manufacturer, so on these products also wholesaler who is paying tax. And later on, if you see retailer, so retailer who is buying from this wholesaler, he will be also paying tax. So if you see in this example, taxes is paid at 3 levels. So the final cost of this good and service which is provided here means that tax which is paid by these 3 intermediate levels will also be added there. So because of this, the cost of the goods and services will be high. So mainly it want to decrease this cascading effect of tax. Okay, and next one is convenient for the taxpayers. So most of the indirect taxes which are under the central government and the state governments, they are included under this GST regime. And next one is it will be also helpful for tax compliance as well, because the registration process is very much simpler. Okay, and there is simple process for the filing of tax on GST platforms. So because of this, there is an enhancement of tax compliance as well. And next one is surplus revenue. So a higher tax of GDP ratio, a higher tax to this GDP ratio, which mainly signifies is that an expanded tax base and an increase in tax compliance, which is mainly leading to the increasing of GST collections. And next one is there is also decreasing of corruption level. So in this GST regime, it is mainly expected to be very much transparent. So because of this, it mainly leading to very few instances for false input credit tax. And next one is, so if you're talking about what is this input credit tax, so it mainly refers to the tax which already paid by the person at time of purchase of goods or services, and which is available, it is a deduction from tax payable. For example, manufacturer already paid the tax on raw materials, and whenever wholesaler who is purchasing the goods, again he need to pay the tax, but already manufacturer paid the some amount of tax for the raw material. So for the rest of the thing, for the processing, so this wholesaler he need to pay the tax, he need not to pay the tax for this raw material. So we can deduct this tax which is paid by the by this manufacturer on this raw material. So this is called as input tax credit, and that will be also helpful in increasing of efficiency and overall productivity of our economy. So if you're talking about different types of taxes of GST, so we will be having IGST, integrated GST, central GST, and as well as state GST. So whenever goods and services which are mainly happening between the one state and another state, that will come under this interstate. So we are going to pay that IGST there. Okay, and here in this IGST here, place of production of goods and services is one place, and the service which is provided or delivered is provided in another state. So here two states are involved, that is called as interstate. So whenever there is interstate export and import is happening, there we can see IGST comes into place. And next one is intra-state, means within the state, whenever there is a goods and service which is happening, that means location of supplier and as well as place of delivery that is seen in the same place. So here we will be imposing this CGST and as well as SGST, Central GST and State GST. So if you're talking about what are the favorable factors for increasing of this GST collection in this month, so here the one important thing here is there are some recent changes done in this input tax credit. Okay, so that led to timely compliance by the people. And next one is, so it is also reflecting that there is economic recovery that is seen, and because of this there is increasing of this GST collections. And next one is, so there is also improvement of tax compliance behavior. So because of this also that led to increasing of collections. Okay, so here whenever you are talking about this term tax compliance, it mainly easier and as well as smoother, and whenever we are going for strict enforcement of the laws, then that will be also leads to increasing of tax compliance. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding the debate on national language. So this article is important from your polity point of view, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2, and this topic is important from your mains. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So why it is in use? Recently one Hindi actor, he mainly gave one statement regarding this national language. So because of this that led controversy. Okay, because of this that led controversy over the status of language under the constitution. Okay, so here now there are many quick points that are in debate. Here is national language and as well as official language. So there were many quick to point out that there is no national language for India. So if you're talking about national language, no, we don't have any national language, but we have official language, okay, in the country. So the official language issue was mainly debated in this Constituent Assembly, and the provisions which are mainly relating to it, they are formulated only after compromise that English shall continue to be used for the 15 years. So what happened during this constant assembly meetings or debates were going on. So at that time what happened, there were some debates which are mainly happened on the national language. So they mainly came up with this official language after that debates, and in that official language they decided that English shall be continued to be used for 15 years. So now let us try to talk about what is the status of Hindi. So if you're talking about Article 343 of Indian Constitution, which mainly talks about official language of Union. So according to this Article 343 of Indian Constitution, which mainly says that official language of a Union that shall be Hindi. Okay, Hindi, that too in Devanagari script. Okay, so official language of Union shall be Hindi, and that will be in Devanagari script, and the international form of Indian numericals, they will be used for this official purposes. So for official purposes, the international form of Indian numericals can be used. So if you're talking about our Constituent Assembly, so this Constituent Assembly was bitterly divided on the question that what is the condition of the states they don't speak Hindi initially. Okay, so there are many states which are speaking Hindi, especially in the northern India, but in the southern Indian states they do not speak Hindi, right? So because of this there was some division or debates in this Constituent Assembly regarding this Hindi. And in this Constituent Assembly debates they mainly said that initially they opposed, okay, especially states they are not speaking Hindi, they opposed this declaration of Hindi as a national language. Okay, so especially states which are not speaking Hindi or non-speaking Hindi states, they opposed this declaration of Hindi to be a national language. And the proponents of this Hindi, they were insistent that English was the language of enslavement. So English language we learned from these Britishers, so it is a language of enslavement, and this should be eliminated as early as possible. So this is the idea of the Hindi speaking states. So opponents were against Hindi being done away with, and fearing that it may lead to Hindi domination in the regions that did not speak the language. So whenever this type of statements are done and this type of debates are happening in this Constituent Assembly, so the states which are mainly non-Hindi speaking state, they are having a fear of Hindi domination in the regions, and there were demands to make. So after this Hindi and English language regarding debates, so here there were some demands which are mainly made to make this Sanskrit as a national language, but some people they argued in favor. Okay, but some people they didn't argue. Okay, they didn't say or they didn't favor this decision. Ultimately, finally, our constitution now it mainly speaks about this official language but not the national language. And here Constituent Assembly also said that we are going to continue the use of English for the next period of 15 years. And Constitution said that after 15 years the power is given to the Parliament. So Parliament may by law can decide the use of English and use of Devanagari form of numbers for a specified purposes. For specified purposes we can use English and as well as Hindi in the Devanagari script for specified purposes. And if you are talking about 8th schedule in our constitution, so 8th schedule which mainly talks about list of languages in the country, so it mainly talks about official languages. So there were 14 languages in this schedule, but now it increased to number 22. Okay, and if you are talking about references of these languages, there are two references of these languages in our constitution. Article 344 subclass 1. So this Article 344 subclass 1 which mainly provides for the formation of commission by the president, and this commission should have a chairman and the members they represents these scheduled languages. Okay, so if you are talking about official languages, Article 344(1) which mainly provides for the commission, okay, of that commission will be formed by the president, and this commission will be having chairman and members, and they will be representing the scheduled languages. And the important purpose of this commission here, it is to make recommendations regarding the progressive use of Hindi for official language, okay, and restricting the use of this English language. And next important reference here is Article 351 of Indian Constitution. So Article 351 of Indian Constitution which mainly says that the Union government's duty to promote spread of Hindi so that it will become the medium of expression for all elements of composite culture of India. And they also said that so it will be also helpful for assimilate elements of forms and as well as expressions from Hindustani and as well as the languages which are listed in this 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. So there are two articles, that is Article 344 subclass 1, next one is Article 351. And what is this 3-language formula? So this 3-language formula is also there in use. So we're talking about this 3-language formula in 1960s. Since 1960s, we came up with education policy that is commonly called as Central's Education Policy Documents. It mainly talking about 3-language formula. So 3 languages include Hindi, English, and as well as one regional language. Okay, especially in Hindi speaking states, Hindi and English will be the languages that are mainly taught here. And in some states, they will be teaching both their predominant languages, Hindi besides English. So in states where Hindi it is an official language, so the third language will be rarely taught and as well as it is a compulsory subject. So we're talking about a southern state like Tamil Nadu. So they steadily opposing this 3-language formula, and they mainly sticks to teaching this English and as well as Tamil. Okay, and they mainly argue that if you want to learn, you can learn this Hindi by your own. So this is about this topic. And now let's try to see next topic. It is regarding embroiling Transnistria. Okay, embroiling Transnistria in the Russia-Ukraine war. So if you see this image, so this is Moldova, this is Ukraine, and this in between this red color part which is this Transnistria. So we are going to talk about this. So this is important from your international relations, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. And this topic, it is very important from your prelims. So now let us try to see the context. So if you see context, it mainly says that as Russia-Ukraine war completes over 2 months, it is Transnistria, the tiny breakaway region of Moldova, it mainly posing some risk being dragged into conflict. So in this Russia-Ukraine conflict, so this Moldova and a small tiny breakaway of this Moldova, which also having some risk regarding this conflict. So if you see details, it mainly says that the de facto state lies between Moldova to its west and Ukraine to its east. So this is Moldova and this is Ukraine. Okay, so in between there is a small state. It is called as a Transnistria. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this Transnistria, so actually this Transnistria declared independence like Moldova, and it declared independence after the breakup of Soviet Union. So when Moldovan troops attempted to take over the territory in 1990 to 1992, this Transnistria was able to resist them because they have support from these Russian soldiers. Okay, so actually there was threat from this Moldova. So here this Transnistria having a concern like, so it will be occupied by this Moldova. And next one here is, since then it has remained free of Moldovan control because of it is having support from this Russian soldiers. However, the most countries, they will see this Transnistria as a part of Moldova. So if you see, this is Moldova, this is Ukraine. Here this red color part, it is this Transnistria, and here you can see this Dniester river which is mainly flowing here. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this Transnistria, so the after the split of Moldova in 1991 to 1992, okay, war, so that led to collapse of Soviet Union. So because of after the Soviet Union collapsed during 1991, so this Transnistria, which mainly declared as an independent state, and this independent state had not been recognized internationally, and they came up with referendum in 2006. So this referendum, it is a direct democracy thing. Okay, so after once this referendum which was conducted in 2006, about 97.2% of the people, they vote in the favor of joining Russia. Okay, and it is a separatist region that permanently hosts the estimated 1500 Russian peacekeeping troops are there here. So we're talking about recent developments, why this Transnistria is also dragged into this Russia-Ukraine conflict means. So on April 25th, 27th, 2022, so this Transnistria official claims a series of incidents. So there are some explosions that are mainly hitting in the state security headquarters, that is Tiraspol, and there are some separatist authorities, they blame Ukrainian infiltrators for these attacks. And the blast at Mayak radio center, which mainly damaged the Soviet era mast used to broadcast this Russia news. And next one is attacks on military unit in village Parsani. Okay, and next one is shot fired from this Ukraine towards this Kolbasna village, location of large Russian arms depot. Okay, so here because of this, that this Transnistria is also dragged into this Russia-Ukraine conflict. So if we are talking about some more important facts here, so this Transnistria risk being drawn into this Russia-Ukraine war because there are reports which are mainly saying that there are series of explosions that are mainly seen in this territory. So here rocket propelled grenades which are mainly attacking the security headquarters, and they also attacking the radio center, and we're also seeing there is a large ammunition depots in Europe. Okay, so because of this there are fears from the western as well as Ukraine that Transnistria could be a strong ground in the conflict between this Russia and as well as Ukraine. Okay, so because of this is in news. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding quasi-federalism. So this topic is at most important from your GS paper to under polity. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see why it is in news, first of all let us try to understand what is the concept of this quasi-federalism. So quasi-federalism, it is nothing but intermediate form of state between unitary and federalism. So it is not completely unitary, it is not completely federal. So in between this, okay, it is an intermediate. So here this quasi-federalism, which mainly combines the features of federal government and the features of a unitary government, is having some features of federal government, is also having some features of unitary government. So federalism is nothing but the proper sharing of power between center and state. And unitary means we can see the power sharing will be not there and the entire power will be vested with the center. So India is also regarded as a semi-federal state or quasi-federal state, and it is mainly described by Professor K.C. Ware. So even Supreme Court of India also described that federal structure of India. Okay, if you are talking about Indian federalism, so we are having a single constitution. Yes, we are having a single one constitution. So it is applicable for both the center and as well as the states here. So in true federation, there are separate constitution for the union and states, but here we are having only one constitution. And there is a next one is division of power. So in federation, power it is divided equally between the two governments. So but in India, central government which will be having more powers than compared to that of states. So central government which is mainly stronger than compared to that of state. And next one is if you're talking about our constitution, it is not strictly rigid. So we can amend our constitution by some process we need to follow. Okay, only many subjects the parliament does not need approval of state legislature to amend the constitution. So but for certain subjects like fundamental rights, DPSP, yes, states also need to take the consent of half of the states as well. And next one is we are having unified judiciary. So India has a unified or integrated judicial system. So the high courts, which are highest courts in the state, they come under the Supreme Court in the hierarchy. Okay, we are having unified judiciary. So India has a unified or integrated judicial system. And India, we are also having single citizenship. For example, if you are US citizen, you will be having citizenship of USA and even citizenship of state which you belongs. But here in India, we are having a single citizenship. And if you are talking about the nature of Indian constitution, so federal theorist K.C. Ware has argued that the nature of Indian constitution is quasi-federal in nature. And if you are talking about Supreme Court judgments, S.R. Bommai versus Union of India, it is a 9-judge bench of Supreme Court, and this in this case which mainly held that federalism is part of basic structure of constitution. And in the same Satyapal versus State of Punjab case, and in this case Supreme Court which mainly held that Constitution of India is more quasi-federal than compared to the federal or unitary. And if you're talking about challenges here, so whenever we are having this quasi-federal federalism, so we are seeing there is abuse of power by the center. So the federal provisions of the constitution can only be amended with the consent of states here. In this Schedule 7 of Indian Constitution, which mainly provides a separate list for central and national state, and we also having this concurrent list. But here central regularly violates its provision of legislating the state subjects. For example, here government came up with this recent formulas. And next one is office of governor. So the power which mainly vested upon the governor by the article 154 of Indian Constitution. So this article which mainly states that all executive powers of the state, they are held by him. And next one is regionalism. So this regionalism will also establishes itself through demands of autonomy on the grounds of language, culture, etc. here. So here our nation will also mainly face some challenges of internal security in the form of insurgency. Okay, so this causes which mainly uphills in the basic notion of Indian Federation. So I want to give you one mains question here, that is, Indian Constitution is both unitary as well as federal according to the requirements of time and circumstances. In the light of the statement, critically examine this quasi-federal nature of Indian polity. So try to write answer for this question. Okay, and now let us try to see the next topic. Title says Prime Minister to visit Nepal for Buddha Purnima. So here you need to focus on this Buddha Purnima. So this article is important from your GS paper 1 under history. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So ahead of Buddha Purnima on May 16th. So on May 16th we are going to celebrate this Buddha Purnima. Ahead of Buddha Purnima, the government is planning to visit. Okay, our government is planning to visit this Nepal, that too the place they call as Lumini. So this Lumini, it is a birthplace of Buddha, and this Lumini is also recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Site. So now let's try to see some important facts. This day which mainly falls on this Purnima of Hindu month, that is Vaishakha, and also marks the birth anniversary of this Gautama Buddha, who was the founder of this Buddhism. So we're talking about some facts regarding this Gautama Buddha. He was born as Siddhartha Gautama in 563 BC in a royal family in Lumini, and this area which mainly located near this Indo-Nepal border. So his family which mainly belonged to Sakya clan, which mainly ruled from this Kapilavastu Lumini. At age of 29, Gautama left home and rejected his life of riches and embraced a lifestyle of asceticism or extreme self-discipline. And after 49 consecutive days of meditation, Gautama Buddha attained Bodhi, that is enlightenment, under people tree at Bodh Gaya. So this is also very important. And here Buddha gave his first sermon in the village Sarnath near Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. And next one, this event is also called as Dharma Chakra Parivartana, and he died at age of 80 years, okay, in 483 BC at Kushinagara, Uttar Pradesh. Okay, this is called as Mahaparinirvan or Mahaparinirvana. So he is mainly believed to be the 8th of 10 incarnation of Lord Vishnu, that is Dashavatar of Vishnu. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says unemployment in April climbs to 7.83%. It is according to the CMIE data. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So this article is important from our economy point of view, which mainly comes under GS paper 3. So now let us try to see context. The unemployment rate in country climbed to 7.83% in April from 7.6% in March. In March, the unemployment rate is 7.6% and now it is 7.83%. That means there is increased rate of unemployment that is seen. So this is according to the CMIE data. So if you see details, it mainly says that the unemployment rate in the urban areas was higher. It is at 9.22%. Okay, that too in the month of March. So in month of March it is 8.28%, in month of April it is 9.22%. In rural areas the rate was 7.18% in month of April, and if you are comparing with the last month it was 7.29%. So unemployment rate which is mainly highest in Haryana, Rajasthan, Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir according to the data. So if you are talking about some facts regarding the CMIE, it is a privately owned and professionally managed business information company. So this company which mainly headquartered in Mumbai. So it was established in 1976 primarily as an independent think tank. So an independent think tank, it is mainly established in 1976. Actually, it has a presence over entire information regarding food chain, large scale primary data collection and information product development, etc. And if you're talking about this function of the CMIE, so it is mainly providing some services to entire spectrum of business information consumers, including government, academia, financial markets, business entrepreneurs, and as well as professionals, media, etc. And the CMIE, which also provides economic and business database and also develops some specialized analytical tools, and also conducts the largest survey regarding estimate of household income and as well as the pattern of spending and as well as saving. Okay, so this is about this topic. So these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. And now let us try to see a small announcement. We in Rathod IAS started this mains answer writing course, and this course it is for 1 year. So we will be giving you weekly targets, daily one question will be given, and we will be evaluating your answer, and we also provide you with a model answer. And this course it is very important, and as well as it plays an important role in improving of your answer writing skills. So if you follow whatever the timetable we are giving, so we can assure you that within 1 year you are going to complete your GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4, and there will be also essay and case study writing practice as well on Sunday. And apart from that, we are launching this pen drive course of Rathod IAS for foundational course of 2023. So if you see what are the benefits of this course, there is no need of internet, and once you can set up this pen drive, there is no need of using internet. And here the classes are taken by expert faculty who already written mains and as well as who entered into this interview stage of this UPSC. And the next one is we are providing each and every topic with a great detailed things and 100% conceptual clarity, and as well as 100% coverage of syllabus will be there. You can completely rely on these videos and notes that we are giving. And if you want to take a single module also, that will be available, and you can visit this website Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to register with your email ID, and you can click on the course list so that you can see wide range of courses that we are offering in our Rathod's IAS Academy. And if you have any queries, you can call me on this number 8074765513, and this is also a WhatsApp number. You can also message me on this number. And now let us try to see today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu date is May 3rd 2022, and this is Delhi edition. So first article here, it is regarding this: no one can be forced to get vaccinated. This is the thing which mainly said by Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that it is a right of individual against forcible vaccination, and government's COVID-19 vaccine policy to protect this communitarian health. Okay, so here Supreme Court says that no one should be forced to get vaccinated. And next topic, it is regarding EC sends notice to Soren over Office of Profit allegation. So here EC means nothing but Election Commission. Selection Commission, which mainly sent a notice to Jharkhand Chief Minister, that is who is that person, that is Hemant Soren, over an issue regarding this Office of Profit. So you have to see where is Office of Profit, which is present in our constitution. So especially in the section 9 of 9A of Representation of Peoples Act, which mainly talks about this thing. And next topic is regarding manufacturing quickens input cost rise shows PMI. So here consumer goods, which mainly consumer goods producer, they are mainly having some amount of slight acceleration that is seen in the new orders. So India's manufacturing sector, which mainly recorded a slight acceleration in the new orders and as well as output in the month of April. Okay, it mainly indicates this SNP, that is Standard and Poor Global India Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index. So here you need to know about what is this Purchasing Managers Index. So number of times we discuss this topic. And if you move forward, here in the city page, I found one article is important, that is polygamy. So if you are a student from anthropology, you will be having monogamy, polygamy. So there are different types of marriages. So you have to know what is this polygamy. And if you move forward, in the city page, I didn't find anything which is much important. And here in the states page, there is nothing much important. and you can enter into this editorial page. Okay, so in this editorial page I discussed about this GST, and there is no need of reading this Congress article. This is also regarding Congress article. There is no need of reading that. And next article is regarding safety in these electric vehicles. So why it is in news? Because there is increased incidence of battery failure in this electric vehicles. You can refer that ones. And there is one more article regarding this LIC, that is creating more employment opportunities for women. It is fundamental to its identity. So you can refer this article. So this will be important from your social issues point of view. And if you move on to this text and context, I discussed regarding this national language topic. I discussed regarding this Transnistria, and I also discussed about this QuasiFederalism. And if you move forward, there is one article regarding this Ministry of Home Affairs report regarding this NSC and IM attacks, that is NSC and Isaac Mubaya. So you have to read for this article. And there is one more article regarding can't isolate trade from investment and climate issues. So this is a thing which mainly said by this Netherlands ambassador. So once this meet of this Prime Minister with this European countries is done, we will be getting many articles. So there we are going to discuss that. And if you move forward, you can see the article, that is Supreme Court apprised of school dropouts over this COVID-19 related penury. So because of this COVID-19, there is increase in number of dropouts. So what are the reasons for the increase in number of dropouts? Because their family members are also lost their livelihood, and there is no proper availability of jobs. Okay, so that there is increasing of school dropouts are seen. And next one is Prime Minister to visit Nepal for Buddha Purnima. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward, Chinese economy flatters amid this COVID-19 woes. So this article is also very important from your economy point of view. And if you move forward to this business page, there you can see one article, that is unemployment in April climbed 7.83%. So this is the data according to this CMIA. So you have to see this article, and I discussed some facts regarding this topic as well. So these are some important articles that appear in this today's newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. And before concluding, once again, I wish you a very happy Ramzan. And please try to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. Thank you so much.